Hello friends, welcome to yet another insightful session on essay perspectives. Topic for today is the whole is more than sum of its parts. As always friends, I have a personal request. My book Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude has been pirated and I urge, but unfortunately pirated book is of low print quality. I urge all of you to buy original. As always friends, we have to first conceptualize this essay also as being made of various components and subcomponents before we proceed. So this topic actually can be looked at in these following ways. So first we have to introduce the topic, then since it's a philosophical essay we need to explain the essence of it, then we should try to dissect the synergy and try to seek as to what are all the components that contribute to synergy, or to put it in other words, how synergy works. Then the factors that make synergy possible, that is factors responsible for synergy. Then we have to stop a bit and introduce an analytical angle, asking a question, is whole always more than sum of its parts? Then we should discuss the factors accentuating synergy. Then we would conclude. Friends, I feel the best way to start this essay is by taking the essay topic itself. Correct. See, this essay topic is made up of 31 letters and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words. Correct? If these letters, these 31 letters are just put one after the other without arranging them into words and then placing every word in a proper order, then would that essay statement make sense? No, right? Just putting all those letters at one place is what we call sum of parts. Correct? But when those sum of parts are arranged properly, then they are arranged into words which are arranged into essay topic, then it is making sense. Thus, does that not mean the whole, which is the essay topic itself, is more than sum of its parts, which is just letters or words which are not organized properly? Correct friends? So thus whole is greater than sum of its parts. So I have emphasized multiple times, in any essay, in any philosophical essay topic, it is utmost essential to dwell more upon elaborating on the essence of the topic itself. Okay, unlike other topics where the statement or essay topic itself is self-explanatory, in philosophical essays it is important for us to crystal clearly explain the essence of the topic. And how do you explain? In that first you have to explain the meaning and then elaborate on the some philosophical underpinnings of the topic itself. So how do you do that? Now this essay topic you have to do proper dissection. First one is that this topic consists of two major aspects. One is the whole, the second one is sum of its parts, right? Then you should say what is whole, what is sum of its parts. Maybe I have given one example in introduction slide itself, so you can come up with many more such examples. Correct? In order to elaborate on the meaning, what is whole? Whole essentially means all the parts arranged in systematic fashion such that each function, the function of each part is complementary to the function of other parts. I repeat, whole implies arrangement of all parts in a systematic fashion such that the function of each part is complementary to the function of rest of the parts. Okay, this is what whole means. Then what is sum of its parts? Correct? The essential thing is that whole doesn't mean or is not equal to sum of its parts. Sum of its parts essentially means all the parts put it in one place. Okay? Under whole, all the parts are arranged in a systematic fashion such that their functions are, the function of each part is complementary to the function of other parts. Correct? Here, arrangement in systematic fashion and ensuring that each part functions complementary to the functions of other parts is absent in some of its parts. Under whole there is systematic arrangement. Under whole there is arrangement of parts in such a way that every function is complementary to the function of other parts. However, in some of its parts, all the parts are just put at one place. Correct? They are not arranged systematically, nor are their function arranged in such a way that they complement with the functions of other parts. Okay, so this is what makes the difference between whole and some of its parts. So thus, which you will have to elaborate in the first point, that is meaning and elaboration. Then comes another bedrock of whole being more than some of its parts is team spirit. See, isn't it, friends? If all the activities or all the parts work in unison towards a unified objective, then we call what is called team spirit. That means all the parts believe that they belong to a particular team. So thus presence of team spirit is what makes whole more than some of its parts. So these are some of the points which you can deliberate on. Then this I have already explained, friends, whole versus some of its parts, how whole is greater than some of its parts. Then friends, physical and living, what does this mean? See, the whole being some of its parts can get manifested in physical world or in living world. What is this physical world? Let's take the example of a watch. Watch would consist of needle, cell, dial, strap, etc., etc. Correct? If I put all of them, like needle separately, dial separately, strap separately, and put it in one box, would that really make sense? No, right? So I have to attach dial to a strap. On it I should put a glass, then I should fix a battery, then I should fix the needles, and then only then that watch would do something called showing the time. So thus everything, any automobile that you take, any house you take, any physical object that you see would manifest this the essence of this statement, that is whole is more than some of its parts. However, at the same time, this can be seen in living world also. By living world, essentially I mean environment. Correct? That means all the aspects of various environment work in unison towards achieving a proper objective. Okay, and you can also take it to the level of human beings, where all the human beings together will attempt to make that whole more than some of their individual capabilities put together. Correct? Let us say some 10 people come together to do something, whatever be it. So if let us take the example of a cricket team. In that cricket team, so there are individual bowlers, there are batsmen, there is a wicket keeper, there is a fielder, etc., etc. Everyone has his or her own skills. If since all of them work together, if they work in unison, then obviously the productivity, which is whole, which is more than the sum of their individual capabilities put together. So that and all aside, friends, what I am just trying to tell you, see, here we are actually elaborating on the essence of the topic itself. Since it's a philosophical essay, it is important for us to convince the examiner that we have understood the topic better. So thus we should also say that this topic, this is a dictum, this statement gets manifested in physical world as well as living world. Then friends, all of us know that whole being more than sum of its parts is synergy. If there is one word replacement to the essay topic given, that is what? Synergy. So hence you can also write that this concept is widely popular as synergy. Hence, and also you can very well state that in the rest of the essay, so the word synergy would be used in order to convey the meaning of the essay, so that it becomes easier. Every time you cannot keep writing that the whole is more than sum of its parts, right? Now after elaborating on the essence, of course this is also part of essence, I don't deny that fact actually, but still in continuation with that, now it is time for us to explore the various components of synergy. Correct? What is the synergy? Is essentially that extra whole, right? That extra result, right? What are the components that would ensure that extra result is what I mean. So the first component is, sorry friends, it is not very visible, so I just write it for you. The first component is competence of parts. Friends, whether if the parts that constitute whole are not competent, obviously the output is also substandard. So that means, essentially means, the extent to which whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Of course, the whole is always greater than sum of its parts, but the degree to which whole becomes greater than sum of its parts is essentially determined by, first point is competence. Isn't it, friends? If the team members are more competent, let us say team A, team B. In team A, all the members are of low competency. In team B, all the members are of high competency. Correct? Obviously, then the result of team A is less than the result of team B. Okay? So, thus the first essential thing is competence of parts. If the parts cannot work, then there is no way the whole can become greater than sum of its parts. So, the second thing is coordination. Friends, this is very essential. That means, I told you, all the parts have to be systematically arranged and in such a way that the function of each part is complementary to the functions of other parts. If this coordination is not ensured, then there are high chances that whole need not become more than sum of its parts. Correct, friends? See, let's take the example of construction of a building. Correct. So the first construction of building starts with designing or creating a plan by a designer. Correct. Then it is followed by construction by the masons. Then it is followed by electrification, plumbing, ACs, interiors, etc., etc., etc. Correct, friends? Let us say there should be whatever the plan that is given by the designer should be well understood by the mason. Correct? And the designer would have told, put AC here, put AC there. For putting this many ACs, you need to put these many electric sockets. And these are the places where the AC, wires for AC pipe and pipes for venting out used water of AC should be put. Everything will be on paper, right? So if this plan is not understood well by mason or subsequently by an electrician, then if they don't work in coordination with each other, then obviously whatever turns out on ground will not reflect whatever is designed on the plan. So then it may so happen that you have constructed all the building, then you don't have a place to put the AC, you don't have made provision for wiring for AC, then where do you put AC? I'm just giving an hypothetical example. So thus it becomes important for ensuring that each part, the function of each part, each part functions complementarily to the functions of rest of the parts. Correct? Then the third and important thing is overall management. Friends, of course, this coordination is needed, right? But who will do this coordination? I know the parts have to be arranged systematically, and therefore I have to ensure that their functions should be complementary to the functions of all others. But who has to do that? And that means there has to be an overall manager who would understand the strengths of each part and who would assign tasks to the each part and ensure that they are arranged in a process and ensure that their functions are complementary to each other but not derogatory to each other. Correct? So thus overall management is what very much essential. Friends, you can also very well write, this is what a civil servant does. This third component of overall management is what is expected of a civil servant. Civil servant heads departments, teams, etc., etc. Every time the civil servant has to first understand the work that needs to be done, then he has to understand who has to do what work, then he has to form a process for the functioning of that work, then he has to coordinate amongst those parts so that the result which is whole is more than sum of its parts. Correct? Thus there are three components that would make synergy work: competence of parts, second coordination, third overall management. After we have explained the components of synergy, now it is important for us to elaborate on the factors responsible for synergy. See, the first thing, synergy is possible because of the catalytic abilities that it has got. So the best example is, let us say we are all working in some 10 people are working in a team. Correct? So there, when the 10 people are working together, it is very natural for one person or for every person at different time periods to get bored, to get frustrated, to feel like giving up. So at that point of time, it is only those group events, group outings, etc. that would boost the morale of any person. Correct? So thus this there is a power of catalyst which is inherent in the working together of many parts. Then actually it acts as lubrication. I mean, another, in the physical world you can take the example of lubrication, right? So what would lubrication do? Lubrication would make the harder work simpler. Correct? Without lubrication there will be more friction, we'll have to put more energy. So more energy means more time, less output, less efficiency. So thus this, when all the parts are put together, there is a high chance that an unknown catalytic force would bind all the parts. So that catalytic force is what makes whole greater than sum of its parts. Got it? Okay. Then friends, specialization. See, when a person keeps working on one aspect, okay, then he automatically becomes a specialist in. The best example is a garment factory where a one person is made to do the cutting of cloth. Then the another person would do the stitching. A person who is meant to do cutting of cloth would keep doing the same thing again and again. So this automatically he becomes specialist in that. So a person who would have done, say, X units in one unit of time would start doing X plus 1 units in the same 1 unit of time. Correct? So this is possible only when a person keeps doing one thing over and over again. So thus, when this happens, so thus the competence of every part increases. Then when competence of every part increases because of specialization, obviously whole becomes greater than sum of its parts. Then the replacement possibility. What is this replacement possibility? See, let us say, friends, only one person is doing everything, like cutting, stitching, everything. Let us say one person is doing everything. Then if that person falls sick, then the work will stop. Correct? But when everyone is working in a team, okay, that means if one person goes on leave, another person will take on and do, right? So that is what happens with a team. So this is also one reason that what makes whole greater than sum of its parts. See, let's take the example of a conductor and a driver. They constitute a team, right, in a bus. So the conductor, once let us say the driver may get tired, the driver may feel, may not feel like driving. So at that time, this conductor may step in and may start driving. So thus totally we would ensure that the bus reaches the destination. In the absence of this, there is no this replacement possibility would ensure that the work keeps going, would ensure that the output does not fall below a standard. So this replacement possibility is another aspect that would ensure that whole is more than sum of its parts. Then in-house scrutiny. See, that means, friends, when all the parts are working together, or when all the individuals are working together, see, when one person is not doing correctly, when one person is not at all doing anything, see, there is a difference, not at all doing and not doing correctly. That means when one person becomes lazy, or when one person starts doing something wrongly, erroneously, without knowledge, then the another person may step in and say that, "Arey boss, you are not doing the right job. So you please get up. We are a team. We have to run together." then that fellow may start working. And when one person is started doing something erroneously, the another person may immediately point out and say that no, you're doing this wrong. Maybe you try this way. It is very natural that we don't identify our own mistakes. The best person to identify our mistakes is our friend, right? So only other persons can become be open about our mistakes. Thus, when all the parts are working at one place, this in-house scrutiny will be there. This in-house scrutiny will ensure that whole is greater than sum of its parts. Then multi-skilling. See friends, no task can be achieved by a single skill. Correct? Take the example of a cricket match. Take any example for that matter. For you to win a cricket match, you need a good bowler, you need a good batsman, you need a good fielder, you need a good wicket keeper. Of course. So thus, it is only the sum of parts would bring all different skills together. Okay. So thus, multi-skill, or the aggregate of all the skills will ensure that so whole is more than sum of its parts. Then emotional management. This is essential, extremely essential, friends. As I already told in the first point also, see, when you are working in a team, the chances that you would get depressed are less because you are always in constant interaction. There is always a scope for you to get motivated by someone. There is always a healthy competition. And so thus, this every part will help in the emotional management of other parts. Every individual will help in the emotional management of other individuals in the group or in the team. So this emotional management would ensure that whole is more than sum of its parts. Correct? See, let us take it this way, friends. You keep working, you get bored. Okay? The other fellow will come and say, no, come on, you do it. Last point is brainstorming. Correct, friends? So always we know that only when different skills come together and start finding a solution, excellent solutions will emerge. So we know how this software and automobiles have come together to create innovative solutions in automobile industry. Correct? So thus, if only when 2-3 persons from different skill backgrounds would come together, then there would be scope for brainstorming. Those brainstorming would spin off lot of innovative solutions that would ensure less time, less effort, but more output. Correct? So all these factors would ensure that whole is greater than sum of its parts. Friends, there are n number of examples for this. So you can think, brainstorm and come up with your own example suiting these points, and you are free to do more points also. Then friends, as I have already always told you, it is important for us to introduce an element of analysis into your essay. Correct? So here, what is that analysis? So then once you have kept arguing that yes, whole is more than sum of its parts, whole is more than sum of its parts, you have to pause a moment and question yourself, is whole always more than sum of its parts? Okay? Then this would open you up to two other questions. So the whole is more than sum of its parts only, or this question, the answer to this question hinges upon answer to remaining two questions. The first question is whether benefit of group is pursued to have been shared equitably by all parts. See, a person would work complementarily in unison with other person only if he or she believes that the benefit that would come out of their teamwork is equitably shared by everyone. Correct? If I think that whatever I work, that fellow will take credit, then I will not work. Then there will be no scope for synergy at all. at the time it may actually act counterproductive. Then in order to ensure that the other person should not get more benefits, I would not work. I would try to throw spanner into whatever he or she does. So thus the whole concept, then it would take an altogether diametrically opposite stand to make you mean that the whole is less than the sum of its parts. Okay, so what I am just trying to tell you is, this dictum, this statement works only if every part or every individual believes that the benefits coming out of the group work is equitably shared by everyone. Okay, so many times, friends, I have actually highlighted the word perceived. See, sometimes though the benefits may be getting equitably shared, but some persons in the group may be thinking, may be perceiving it otherwise. They may be thinking that no, it is not getting equitably shared. They may be thinking that no, other person is unreasonably getting more benefits. So thus, more than the actuals, the perception is important. If every individual perceives that the benefits of teamwork or group work are equitably shared, then he or she would do the best, and then the whole would become greater than sum of its parts. If this perception is not there, then the whole may be even less than the sum of its parts. Correct? Then the second thing, see, is there any part is there any debilitating part? Correct. See, only you will be able to function effectively when all the parts work vigorously, work effectively. But if there is one debilitating part in the entire whole, then the whole can never become more than sum of its parts. Correct. So these two conditions have to get satisfied. One is that all the parts should have the competence to work vigorously. Second part, all the parts should believe or perceive that the benefits of teamwork are equitably shared. If these two things or conditions are met, then the whole is always sum of its parts. If either of these two conditions are not met, then the whole may not be more than sum of its parts. Friends, once we have taken that analytical view that there are also chances that there can be whole which is less than sum of its parts, then it becomes important for us to explain as to what a overall manager, we told you in that anatomy of synergy, I have told you the third point is overall manager. Then what should a overall manager do to ensure that whole is always sum of its parts? Okay, so then the first thing is, first that person should have emotional intelligence. The overall manager should have the emotional intelligence to understand the emotions of every individual who is a part of his team or her team, and use their emotions or manage their emotions in such a way that they always contribute to the positive outcome of the group or team. Second, he or she should ensure that there is this element of tolerance amongst the members of the team. If this element of tolerance is missing, then the entire functioning would go for toss. Sometimes one of the members may get frustrated and may start shouting at others. Others have to tolerate his behavior. Sometimes one of the members may be eccentric in his ideas, but in order to ensure that he contributes his or her best to the team, we have to tolerate with him. So the tolerance has to be the essential hallmark amongst all the members of a team, so that the whole is always greater than sum of its parts. Then there should be clear work demarcation. Who should do what? In the absence of this clear work demarcation, the gray area which is not assigned to any part is mostly not done by anyone. If the same work is assigned to two persons also, then nobody would do. Then everybody would say that let that fellow do, let this fellow do. There will be allegations, accusations, and nothing will happen. So thus clear work demarcation is necessary. Then first and foremost thing is that feeling of belongingness to group is extremely important, friends. Friends, all of us know that that in army every soldier is ready to die. For whom is he ready to die? He is ready to die for his platoon. For his platoon, because he believes that he belongs to that platoon and that platoon should not lose. So always that feeling of belongingness would ensure that everybody gives his or her best. If any part feels that he is an outsider, does not belong to the group, then things will go for a toss. Then friends, it is time for conclusion. So this is a philosophical topic, but yet we have concretized it and given various angles and dimensions to it. Now it is important for us to conclude. It is better to conclude from a civil servant's perspective, friends. See, being a practicing civil servant, the moment I saw the topic, I felt it is more relevant to a civil servant, because civil servant is the head of any organization which consists of so many parts. Even whether a physical or living world, civil servant's job is to understand the task at hand. Okay, then find out the person who can best do the task or a part of the task. Then if that task cannot be done by one person, or if the task includes so many subtasks, then you have to allot or assign persons to each subtask and make all of them to work in unison. Then only there will be success. Correct? So thus you can very well say that in conclusion we can very well say that this is more relevant to a civil servant, because who is a leader, who has to manage so many groups. So if the civil servant understands how he or she can make a whole greater than sum of its parts, then perhaps all the works in the government can happen very effectively and efficiently. Something like that you can conclude. Okay friends, so thanks for patient listening. So all the best, happy reading.